If a man is not missing you, the solution is not to do more. Often it becomes less. But let's be clear, that less is not emptiness. It is an intentional silence. It is still present. It's the kind of energy that enter his mind, not because you force it, but because you withdrew with wisdom. Most believe that being remembered require constant effort, texting, posting, attention, noise. But what if the real magnetism is in the void, in your peaceful absence, not in chasing his attention, but in cultivating your own? This is not just a technique, it is a transformation. Because when a woman learns to hold her energy instead of scattering it, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she begged to be remembered, but because she becomes impossible to forget. You see, love today is so misunderstood. We are told to stay visible, to stay valued. So we overextend, posting, placing, proving. But the real emotional impact, it's in the silence, in the stillness of your withdrawal, in the gap your absence creates. That's when a man begins to miss you, not when you're giving constantly, but when the rhythm of life continues and your energy is no longer part of it. It is not magic. It is psychological, biological, spiritual. The brain craves what is not immediate available. Dopamine spike, not when we get something, but when we are anticipating it. Imagine he comes home every evening. You're always there, smiling, warm, predictable. At first, he is grateful. Over time, he stopped noticing. Not because it's wrong, but because it is guaranteed. Now imagine you're no longer there. The greeting is gone. The silence echoes. And suddenly, what he took for granted becomes unforgettable. Longing begins not from rejection, but from reflection. But listen closely. This is not about playing games. Your absence must be grateful and graceful and not punishing. Still, not manipulative. Purposeful, not reactive. In today's world of constant ping and post, longing barely survives. But your intentional silence, that's a whisper he would not forget. Not every woman understands this. Some overgive from fear. They rearrange their life, pick up every call, give, even when their own cup is empty. And slowly, he expects instead of appreciate. That's the tragedy. Not being loved, not in being unloved, but in being unappreciated. Here's the secret. People don't remember what you wore. They remember how they felt in your presence. You leave an emotional fingerprint. You don't imprint the mind. You imprint the nervous system. So if your present brings calm, clarity, fun, joy, and a sense of I can breathe here, that absent, it becomes haunting. Not loud, not dramatic, just unforgettable. Two women may pass through a man's life. One bring chaos, spark, adrenaline, overgiving. The other brings stillness, depth, peace, calm. He may crave the chaos, but years later, he will miss the peace. There was a woman. She did not try to impress. She did not chase. She just was kind, calm, and steady. When she left, she did not demand closure. She simply walked away. Years later, she is still on his mind. Why? Because she brought him home to himself. When she was near, he was better. And now she's gone. He's not just missing her. He's missing the versions of himself she helped him access. That's the real power. That's what lingers. But you cannot fake this. You cannot pretend to be grounded when your inner world is chaos. You become unforgettable only when you do your inner work. So when you met your own shadow, when you no longer act from fear, when you know the difference between your triggers and your truth, this woman does not spiral from a delayed text. She does not beg for closure. She turns inward. She breathes. She observes. She regulates because she knows it's not the man she caught. It's not the man that caused the chaos. It's the attachment to the outcome. It's the fear of not being enough. Once she recognizes that, she becomes emotionally sovereign. Unforgettable women don't revolve around a man's attention. They walk their own path. They are not loud. They're not everywhere. But when they're gone, everything feels different. She doesn't chase. She doesn't perform. She doesn't beg to be chosen. She chooses herself first. She protects her space. She radiates from clarity. She respects her time, her energy, and her body. And that kind of woman, she's not missed because she disappeared. She's missed because her energy cannot be replicated by another person. Because the versions of him that exist in her present now feel out of reach. And no matter how loud the word become, it feels just a little quieter without her stillness. You are not remembered by how loud you are, but by how deeply you touch someone and how peacefully you walk away. When you know your value are not being honored, walk away. So today, learn to be in silence. Learn to reclaim your power back. Learn to be in stillness. Value yourself first. Value your energy. And value your body. Because this is so critical to help you come back to yourself first and be grounded. You don't need to chase him. You don't need to remind him. You don't need to prove a thing. Because the versions of you that tolerated neglect, she no longer exists. The woman who explained her boundary again and again and again has evolved. And now, when people return, they must face the truth. They are no longer entitled to the parts of you they once mishandled. This kind of change cannot be fake. You cannot pretend to have grown up and expect others to feel it. You have to become the growth, live it, inhabit it fully. Your actions must become the boundary. Your absence must become the mirror. Your evolution, the language. You speak even when your lips stay silent. There was once a man who thought she would wait. He walked away like the doctor would always be open, like the door would always be open. But she did not wait. She transformed. She studied psychology. She took up yoga. She took up qigong. She built a life filled with purpose, with peace. So when he came back, expecting to pick up by where they left off, she found her radiant, rooted, unbothered. She greeted him with kindness, but no attachment, with grace, but no invitation. Her eyes held closure. Her smile held completeness. He wasn't just missing her. He was grieving the version of himself that could not only exist in the atmosphere of her old self. You see, that is the power of strategic withdrawal. Sometimes the most powerful way to teach someone how to love you better is not through correction, but through elevation. You rise so high that the old dynamic cannot breathe in your new air. And in that rarefied space, you cannot seek understanding. You stop needing validation. You prioritize your growth over your attachment. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop chasing, you become very magnetic. Neuroscience even back it up. The brain is wired to notice contrast. When a light turns off, when a voice goes quiet, when a present fades, the brain awakens. Desire isn't born in what is constant. It is born in what is suddenly missing. But this is not a trick. It is not a game. It is scare withdrawal. This is maturity. This is emotional sovereignty. You cannot pull away to punish. You retreat to return to yourself. Because the woman who rises without making noise, who built her peace in private, who doesn't need to be loud to be here, that woman is unforgettable. Not because she begged to be remembered, but because her absence felt like a full present. She became the kind of woman you don't know how to approach casually. That kind of woman whose silence felt like the truth. So if you're wondering, will he miss me? Let me ask you this instead. Who are you becoming when he is not watching? Because longing isn't born from being near. It is born from what your essence gave when you were. If your presence make him feel more centered, more alive, more peace, your absence will echo. But if your presence felt like pressure, no amount of chasing will ever create longing. You don't need to explain your worth. You just need to embody. You don't need to be louder. You just need to be clear. Let your evolution speak. Let your boundary breathe. Let your peace lead. And when you feel the space where you used to stand, he would not just miss you. He will remember what it felt like to be in the presence of a woman who loved herself more than she need to be chosen. And that realization, that is the moment everything changed. If this message resonates with you, subscribe for more wisdom rooted in your self-mastery. Leave a comment. Your story may be the one that inspires someone else to rise. Until next time, remember, you are not here to chase. You are here to be chosen, fully or not at all.